So, very good evening to everyone. At the outset, first of all, I would like to thanks to the entire team of Yoga Scholars PGIMER Chandigarh for organizing this event and giving me this opportunity, and especially to Dr. Akshay Anand sir. Thank you so much, sir. It's my pleasure to be here as a speaker. So the topic of today's talk is Ayurinformatics and Epigenetics, integrated approach for COVID-19. Uh, at this juncture, when the entire world is struggling to find the possible solution against this dreadful viral disease, just a moment. Can you hear me? I can see. Dr. Akshay Anand, you have mentioned that you can't hear. Am I audible? Am I audible? So, when the entire world is struggling to find this possible solution against okay, thank you, that's fine. So Ayurveda, the traditional Indian system of medicine, has various evidences for the management of such kind of communicable disease, and of course not COVID-19, but such kind of pandemic disease, pandemic situation. It is mentioned in Ayurveda. It is believed that nowadays that such kind of communicable diseases are only manageable by contemporary science, which is a partial truth. So Ayurveda science has very well explanation of epidemics and communicable diseases. In classical text of Ayurveda, it is very well explained about microorganisms and their role in diseases. And as per Ayurveda text, the causative factors for epidemics, which commonly affect certain locality causing threatened disease death, are vitiated air, water, soil, and season. This is something specific explanation of epidemics and pandemics in classical Ayurveda text. And surprisingly, a recent study has shown a link between pollution and the intensity of the COVID-19 disease. It is also further explained, a very well explanation is there in Ayurveda text about the person having different constitution, diet, physical strength, mental condition, age, that get affiliated by epidemic disease, and thus that affect the health of the nation. So this is what the basic explanation which is available in Ayurveda classical text. And there are evidences of antiviral drugs in Ayurveda too. The concept of epidemic and communicable disease, as I mentioned, it is very well described. Along with that, remedies to combat these epidemics are also available in Ayurveda. Description about medicinal plants with their antiviral properties is available in Ayurveda text. There are various studies to evidence the potential of Ayurveda drugs as antiviral property, like very common herbs which are available like tulsi, haridra, gaduchi, rason, ashwagandha, etc. But certainly along with these availabilities, there are certain challenges, like to understand from the perspective of mainstream medical terminology. The modern parameter and the research language is entirely different, as understanding of human body is different from Ayurveda perspective and from the modern perspective. So Ayurveda considers the whole body and the mind and cause of any problem. So the best model, I think, it is the integrated approach. Although till date there is no clinical evidence based integrative prevention or treatment strategies for COVID-19 infection. Despite of this, there is a worldwide interest in integrative management of this dreadful disease. Like in China, Chinese traditional medicines have been used in combination with allopathic treatments for symptomatic elevation in COVID-19 cases. Various drugs they are using, various decoctions they are using for effective management of COVID-19 as an integrated approach. So Ayurveda, one of the world's renowned Indian traditional medicine, mentions several immunity boosting therapeutics. It is known that COVID-19 affects individuals with weak immunity more severely. Therefore, enhancing immunity is definitely one of the way doctors across the globe have been using for treating COVID-19 cases. Considering the same, our Ministry of Ayush has recommended immunity enhancing herbs and issued various guidelines how to increase the natural immunity. So, Ministry of Ayush has invited integrated research protocols for any possible solution from all physicians and a team of scientists throughout India. A task force is working along with ICMR, CSIR, and TSD. So, throughout the world, the integrated approach is the best model to combat this dreadful viral disease. Uh, though antiviral drugs prove to be a boon in the present pandemic as number source and patients rapidly deteriorate. Though several patients still go into cytokine storms, and thus integrated approach may not only enhance immunity but also may be useful as an adjuvant in the management of this disease and prevent its sequelae and complications. So there are why I'm giving this basic information, because now I'm moving towards the other talk, which is the topic of the talk, that is the Ayurinformatics and Epigenetics. So how the integrated approach is going to be applied in this direction. There are various research possibilities in the view of Ayurinformatics and epigenetics in this particular pandemic. It is interesting to note that concepts described centuries back, they are very much relevant to this contemporary era, and their significance cannot be neglected. The modalities described in Ayurveda for the prevention and management of communicable diseases can be applied at individual and community level that bears considerable public health importance. So the understanding of all these fundamentals with the relevant understanding of modern concept, the possible future research doors in purview of Ayurinformatics and epigenetics, now I'm going to describe. What is the term Ayurinformatics basically? What is the meaning of this term? Ayurinformatics is a science that is dealing with the application of bioinformatics, and bioinformatics is a combination of biology and information and technology. So to the Ayurvedic medication, once again, Ayurinformatics is a science dealing with the application of bioinformatics to the Ayurvedic medication. Bioinformatics is a marriage between biology and computers. It is the field of science in which biology, computer science, and information technology merge into a single discipline. So, Ayurinformatics, it has been earlier applied to various other diseases, like mainly in case of cancer. With the advancement of new technologies, now the molecular biology of COVID-19 development is becoming clear to us. The day means like every day we are getting some information about this molecular biology behind the COVID-19. So many scientists have shown interest in targeting the proteins involved in COVID-19 to develop vaccine. So if the conventional drug designing technologies and bioinformatics are applied to the traditional Ayurveda, then it will prove to be a boon to the medical science. So the most powerful and useful techniques to discover novel ligands for receptors of known structures is in silico molecular docking. That plays a major role in structure-based drug design. So in various studies are like previously which were done, like one of the study, Ayurvedic remedy for Ebola hemorrhagic fever, was established by homologic modeling with in silico docking and medication for Alzheimer's disease. Also, there is one another example as an in silico molecular docking was done to check the effectiveness of active compounds from ginger for their binding capacity to NADH, oxidoreductase enzyme as ligands. So, in case of cancer, active compounds of ginger like gingerol and gingerone were chosen as ginger is known to have anti-cancerous properties. So there are many other examples. So now how Ayurinformatics we can apply to COVID-19. So as there are no targeted therapeutics and interventional options are they are very much limited. So in order to rapidly discover lead compounds for clinical use, the scientists from China basically they initiated a program of combined structure-assisted drug design. Later, virtual drug screening and high throughout screening was done to identify new drugs for targeting the COVID-19 virus main protease, that is MPRO, main protease. So there are many references which are available for this. So if you want to have all those, then I can also share with all like I have done meta-analysis of all such kind of studies. So I can share you all related to this talk later. So these results have proven the efficacy of this screening. Means like in silico molecular docking was done taking the Chinese medicine. Similarly, scientists are trying in silico docking of Ayurvedic phytochemicals against this virus. In the recent study, the scientists have screened almost 1,000 phytochemicals from more than 100 medicine plants in silico. Scientists have tested for phytochemical findings, affinities to COVID-19, essential proteins, and host protein interactions. This is what is the basically it is the bioinformatics, and applying Ayurveda into this, combining Ayurveda, applying this science to Ayurvedic phytochemicals is known as Ayurinformatics. So scientists have tested for phytochemicals, finding affinities to COVID-19, essential proteins, and host protein interaction. It was discovered that natural phytochemicals, mainly in mulati means Glycyrrhiza glabra, curcumin, ashwagandha, and giloe, that is Stinospora cordifolia, and tulsi, indeed have potentials to combat COVID-19 and its pathogenicity. Means like Ayurveda has potential and the fundamentals, they are very much relevant, but the challenge is to prove in the contemporary language. So that is what in front of you, that is in terms of bioinformatics, in terms of epigenetics, we can very well prove this fundament, and we can add into the any possible solution against this COVID-19. And scientists, they have initiated in various institutes. So some studies have found that Ayurvedic drugs like ashwagandha, as I mentioned, so they are engaged to host cell ACE2 through its spike protein receptor binding domain. Scientists have discovered with the Hania somnifera compound, that is ashwagandha, docking proved in the binding interface of ACE2 RBD complex in COVID-19. It has been observed that vidhanyon, which is derived from Hania somnifera, significantly decreased electrostatic component of binding free energies of ACE2 RBD complex. So this is what is the Ayurinformatics and COVID-19. In another study also with various other compounds related to giloe and phytochemical, that is stinocorticide from giloe, Stinospora cordifolia, also binds in the ACE2 RBD complex with substantial binding affinities. Stinospora cordifolia also has shown to possess HIV protease inhibitory activity. So there are references related to all these studies. So in silico docking and simulation results predicted high binding affinity of the vithaninin and Stinospora cordifolia, revealed several interesting molecular interactions with the residues, which are critically important during molecular dynamic simulations. Now, another thing is epigenetics and COVID-19. This was Ayurinformatics and COVID-19, and this next one is epigenetics and COVID-19. Epigenetics is a new field of discussion among researchers. Scientists are experimenting the research on biochemical modifications beyond the DNA strand to lead to huge progress in understanding of regulation of gene activity in near future. Am I audible, Pooja? You have mentioned that I am not audible. Am I audible? So, epigenetics is a new science, a new field of discussion among researchers. Scientists are experimenting the research on biochemical modifications beyond the gene activity beyond the DNA strand to lead to huge progress in the understanding of regulation of gene activity in your future. DNA methylation and histone modification play a central role in gene regulation. In various studies, in case of viral infections, IFN and innate immune responses are dependent upon extensive epigenetic regulation influenced by specific epigenetic marks, and the manipulation of DNA and histone modifications enzymes. So similarly, it has been reported in studies that coronavirus induces changes in the basal state of host chromatin. In another study, it has been seen that the action of uh, different cells, a human airway epithelial cell line, with the tested. Uh, okay, Pooja has mentioned that I'm not audible. Let me see. Mm, so mic is working. All right. So in another studies, it has been seen that that the human airway epithelial cell line with the tested respiratory viruses resulted. Okay. So let me finish this, and I think once again, if it is required, so I'll change the internet. Okay, voice is breaking up.